So I kind of wanted to take a little turn and talk some policy with you, if you don't mind. So there's this proposition that there's within the like restorative justice movement, there's kind of a division, a sharp division. Proposition 25. Would you be willing to share a little bit about Prop 25 and your thoughts about it?
Yeah. Right. I'm doing Prop 25 talks all day today.
Yeah, I saw you on YouTube.
I have another one after this, but it's important. I'm glad to do it because so Prop 25, for folks who are listening, will essentially replace the cash bail system with a what they call a risk assessment system to determine who gets bail and who doesn't. Most of the arguments that I'm going to tell you the arguments that you're usually going to hear. There's like two camps who are no on 25. You have the bail industry because they just want to make money selling bail bonds. So we're not aligned with them.
Sure.
Then you have people on the movement side that are saying, well, one, it's important to point out why, before I say what folks on the movement are saying, it's important now, Prop 25 came about of SB 10, which originally came from the movement. The movement organization who brought SB 10 and was moving it through the legislature a couple years ago.
Right. There was a collaboration, right, of different restorative justice organizations that said this is what we need to do.
I don't know if I would say restorative justice necessarily, but just like criminal justice reform and prison abolitionist organizations that brought SB 10 through. And there was a moment when the author was being pushed by probation and to drastically change to add some things into SB 10 that made it very detrimental. And he decided to make those changes, and that's when the movement stepped away from it. And it's led to. So that's what I wanted to get to, those main points. The number one point, y'all, that makes a Prop 25 a no-go for me ever is that Prop 25 has written into the language that if you are being charged with a serious or violent felony, you have absolutely no opportunity for bail. So what does that mean? That means right now, an officer of the law could walk into my house and say, hey, you just killed somebody. And I'll be like, no, I didn't. I was on with Rich and Jay. What are you talking about? Yeah, you killed somebody. Guess what? I'm now in county jail fighting a murder case for as long as they want me to be, which lessens my ability to win my case because I'm fighting it in blues. Who's going to pay rent on my apartment? Thank goodness I don't have any kids. Like, my whole life can be taken from me by a law enforcement officer with no probable cause, no nothing at any given time. And I have no recourse. Now, right now we have the bail system as recourse, which is not a good one, but it's a recourse. You can raise money. You can't turn a factual no into a yes when it's written into the law.
Right.
And that is why Prop 25 and we all walked away from it. And that's why it'll be a no for me.
Let me ask this. Is it true that if we say keep the bail system in place, that it will be tough to revisit it? Because, for a lot of people who struggle,
that's one of their arguments, right?
Who struggle financially, is sometimes bail is not feasible. It's not a feasible option. What do you say? How do we address that?
Look, bail is trash. I'm not here saying vote no on Prop 25 because cash bail is good. Cash bail is terrible. I'm saying cash bail is better than nothing.
And nothing.
And you have what's also written into Prop 25 is that if you've been convicted of a serious or violent felony, nothing hadn't. So you and me, we're toast. Right. We could be walking down the street, picked up, we're in jail, buddy, period. There's nothing that can happen, right? So,
not even at the judge's discretion.
No, they're specifically written in, there is no discretion.
Wow.
Rich, what go ahead.
The point so I just want to address that part first. This idea that if it's implemented, or if we don't change it, there's nothing we can do, or it'll be very difficult to change. Of course, it'll be very difficult to change. Everything in the law is very difficult to change. But there's nothing written into Prop 25. There's nothing written into a no vote that makes it any harder than it is today. There's nothing. To the contrary, some people, including the governor of California, have been saying, go ahead and vote it in. I know there's issues. We'll change it after the fact.
Right.
Yeah, no, because actually when things are put into California law by ballot measures, legislators are not usually quick to go against the people of California.
Right. Those are the people who elected. Those are the people who elected him in the first place.
Right. That's why we so crap like 3 strikes, because the legislature isn't going to go and You tell me 20 million Californians voted yes on Prop 25 and now the legislature is going to go and change it? Absolutely not. We will be stuck. We will be stuck for years with this policy.
Hey, Rich, what about those who say, you know, last week we had on the show Michael Mendoza, national policy for director for ARC, and he was
Oh, he's back at ARC? You mean
he's back with ARC. No, he's back with ARC.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, so so he shared his perspectives and ARC's perspectives, and I know that one of them that I heard is, hey, you know, let's look at like SB 260, right? It started off youthful offender laws. It started off with SB 260, and then we fought for incremental change, SB 261, and then now it's AB 1308, and now those 25 and under started off with those 18 and under, then 21 and under, now 25 and under, and one of their arguments is, hey, let's get this, and then incrementally we can change it. And so I think you answered that right now by saying, you know, you don't see the pushback, but there's this idea also that it'll be 10 years before they can make any changes to it. Is there any truth to that?
There's nothing in the I've read this entire ballot initiative. There's nothing in the statutory changes that say anything like that. The only thing it actually says the exact opposite. And I have a great deal of respect for Michael Mendoza, astounding organizer. But I just disagree. There's nothing in statutory change that says that. And the difference is there's two key differences here. One, we're talking about bills with those youth offender bills you were talking about versus ballot initiatives, which do not work the same way.
Right. It's voters that put in ballot initiatives, and it's legislators that put in bills.
And they're 4 years apart.
Right.
And they cost tens of millions of dollars to make happen. So this idea, like 260, 261, 1308, they were able to happen pretty relatively after another because you can do that for free.
Sure.
Right. So that's one big difference is ballot initiatives don't work the same way that bills do. Secondly, there was nothing written into 260. Actually, I was going to say there was nothing inherently harmful written into 260, but there actually was. And you know what? It's never been solved because 260, 261, 1308, they all say if you have life without, none hand in, you're toast.
Right.
They all exclude people with life without.
Right.
And none of the ones that came after solved that problem. They just continued to write that and more into the statute. And now you have people with life without who have same limited capability. They were also 14. They were also 22, whatever.
But because of their sentence, they're stuck.
They're stuck. And no, nobody came back and fixed that with a bill. Actually, they can't come back and fix that with a bill. Why? Because it was put in place with a ballot initiative. And bills can't change ballot initiatives without a 2/3 majority, which is next to impossible to get, especially on something like criminal justice reform. You can get 2/3 when you want to make name a building, but to get 2/3 to give people with life without an opportunity to go home, to get 2/3 to make it so that people charged with violent crimes. Think about how that looks on paper. Somebody charged with murder has an opportunity to get out without paying bail. Now, we all know anybody can be charged with murder at any given time. I was charged with assault with a deadly weapon. I walked into a store and walked out, not to minimize my responsibility, but it was on tape that I didn't have a deadly weapon is what I'm saying. And
but you were charged with it. You were charged with it, sure.
And under Prop 25, that charge would have held me in jail with no bail, simply for the charge. And a DA can charge you with whatever they want. So the difference is that comparing ballot initiatives and bills is apples and oranges. I think that I've had a lot of conversations with folks at that organization. Their position is incremental change. I'm not against incremental change. I'm saying that doesn't apply. That's not how this particular instrument of policy change works.
Got it.
Rich, thank you for sharing your perspective.